Hey everybody, in today's video I'm going to be reviewing Amber Intense Parfum by FragranceView. I smelled the bottle of this in Harrods when I went down to London a little while ago, and afterwards I went and purchased some samples from the Bois website in London, and so I've been testing it out on skin, and on paper I thought it was very smooth, actually quite nice. It was probably my favourite from the FragranceView that were there at Harrods. They didn't have very many, to be honest, just a little handful. And in general, probably not my taste overall. But this one I thought was quite smooth. I did wear it on skin, obviously, for the review. For the sake of this video, it's on paper. I'm going to read you the note list first so you know what's inside. Bergamot, tangerine and orange with black pepper, cinnamon, cumin and saffron, neroli, rose and jasmine, black currants, patchouli, styrax, benzoin, Peru balsam, musk and oud. So for me, the opening, you get a little bit of the citrus. It's a little bit juicy. I would say maybe a little bit more of the tangerine kind of aspect of the fruit. A little bit juicy, a little bit fresh. For me, I noticed the florals quite quickly. And I would say probably a combination of jasmine and neroli together, but it's not indolic, it's actually quite clean. So it's this kind of clean, soapy-like white floral coming through. Slight kind of, again, tangerine-y orange kind of juicy quality to the top note. Not overly, it's a little bit subtle. It's not going to slap you in the face with orange juice, so just be aware of that. It's subtle. But yeah, you get this kind of floral accord, which again is kind of clean. I get the kind of resinous aspect to this almost immediately mixed with the floral, and a good dollop of kind of a light, airy, clean musk accord over the whole thing, which I think makes it very smooth. As it starts to dry down, I wrote that I got a little bit more kind of an incensey / amber kind of accord, slightly sweetened, and you get a mix of resins, faint hints of the floral still with the jasmine. But after 2 hours, it starts to get a little bit kind of peppery incense, almost like the pepper isn't really a top note, it's more kind of a mid note. I notice it maybe a little bit more as it dries down, and you get kind of a slightly peppery kind of ambery incense-like vibe. Probably more amber than incense, I would say, as you might expect by the name Amber Intense. And after about 3 hours, it's really kind of a musky, soft, warm, slightly sweetened amber accord with a lot of kind of musk around it. At the 4 hour mark, I write soft musky amber, but almost kind of gone, subtle skin scent, a hint of wood. Oud is in the note list, but it smells like in the background. I really, to be honest, don't notice oud personally, but the kind of slight woody aspect that you do get is quite pale, light, and it's kind of a minor nuance in the background. Really, it's a soft, musky, vanillic amber, basically, as it dries down. So to kind of run over the notes, I think you get a hint of tangerine, not a whole lot, but it's just a little bit kind of juicy fruity in the opening. There's cinnamon, there's cumin, there's saffron listed. I don't smell any of them in any huge degree. I get a mix of floral, probably all of them, to be fair, neroli, rose and jasmine. I don't directly smell rose, but it probably has an effect in the blend. But you get, generally speaking, a more cleaner, slightly soapy floral coming through. Blackcurrant is listed, I don't smell it. Patchouli, I never really get patchouli in this. Styrax, benzoin, Peru balsam, that's giving you the kind of the amber accord. Not quite the traditional that you might expect of like labdanum and vanilla, so to speak. This is a little bit more complex with different kind of resins in there. And then musk and oud. I think you get quite a lot of musk in this, but I don't particularly notice any oud personally. In terms of performance, I actually found this quite intimate. It didn't seem to project or leave a whole lot of sillage. It was quite close to the skin. Even from within the first hour, I would say it is quite close. 3 hours, I would describe it definitely as a soft, subtle skin scent. And I would cap the longevity on my skin at around 5 hours. Skin chemistry dependent, some people might get a little bit less, some people might get more. for me, 5 hours on skin. Altogether, it is a floral amber, essentially. It's actually quite simple. It's not massively complicated. You're going to get some clean soapy florals. You're going to get a smooth amber accord that's slightly sweetened just a little bit. And that's it, with some very pale light kind of woody touches as it dries down. Quite simple. If you like amber perfumes, you might like it, although it does come across, again, a little bit simple, but quite nice. There's nothing unpleasant about it. It's pleasing. The performance, maybe people will be a little bit disappointed in the performance in terms of projection and sillage. I think you would have to spray, but I want to point out that I'm not an over sprayer. I don't spray a ridiculous amount of fragrance. Some people do, and that's fine if you want to. I personally don't do that. So I think if you want the performance from this, spray it generously. And when I say generously, I'm talking 15, 20 sprays. Then you probably get some better projection and sillage from this. But I tend to spray, if it's from a bottle, so to speak, anywhere between 1 and maybe 7 sprays if it's a weaker fragrance. I tend to not go above that kind of number. But with this one, I think you would have to spray fairly generously to get a performance from it if you want a little bit of sillage from it. I would class it as completely unisex. It doesn't smell male or female. It's completely down the middle. I would say it could be dressed up or casual. It's very easy to wear. There's nothing unpleasant about it. You're never going to offend anyone with it. I would even go as far to say it would be appropriate in an office because it's so soft and it doesn't push off the skin far. And like I say, unless you spray it like, you know, an insane amount of times. So I think it's fairly versatile when you could wear it like dressed up casual most times of year. It's not sweet enough to be cloying, so I think you could probably pull it off in the heat as well in the summer. So all year round, preferably in autumn and winter, but I don't see a problem, to be honest. If you're in Dubai wearing this in the heat, it would be completely fine. It's not going to choke you out or be cloying because it's not that sweet. And the florals will give it some kind of relief as well. The only downside to this is the cost. It only comes as 100ml and it costs £595, so you might as well call it 600, basically £600 for 100ml, which is, it's a lot of money, it's expensive. I personally can't afford that. I would never spend £600 on anything in terms of a perfume to wear myself. It's just out of my budget, I can't afford it. So if this was a 50ml, for example, the price would still be close to £300, you know, £297.50 for a 50ml. It doesn't exist, but if it did, that, you know, roughly speaking, you were looking at £300 for a 50ml. It's still, even in a smaller quantity, it is up there in price. That's it. There's nothing else to kind of talk about it. It's quite a simple perfume. It's pleasant. It's just very expensive, and not everyone can afford it. I certainly can't. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you soon with, well, actually, no, maybe I won't. I'm uploading these, or I'm filming these in advance. When this goes out, I will be in India, and I won't be back till March next year. So this is pre-recorded, so I won't be replying to comments probably. I'll barely be checking my phone once in a blue moon probably. The videos I'm trying to do like one every couple of weeks for as long as I can before I kind of run out of pre-recorded things. Maybe I can try do a live stream now and again. I'll have some data on my phone with an eSIM, hopefully, if it works. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I will see you whenever the next video is. Take care, everyone. Be safe. Bye.
One time he disappeared for 2 or 3 days. When he came back, they asked him where he'd been, and he said, "Oh, just sailing."